In the highest, most frozen reaches of the mountains, where the wind never stops its mournful song and the snow falls in a relentless, silent dance, there was an army camp. This wasn't a fortress of stone or steel. Its walls weren't built of concrete. Its towers weren't made of wood. No, this camp was guarded by something far more vigilant, far more alive. 10 brave army dogs. Each one was a legend in their own right, with a name, a purpose, and a heart brimming with a courage that could melt the very ice around them. There was Rex, the undisputed leader. His presence was a quiet storm of strength and calm, a steady anchor in the chaotic world of the high peaks. Then came Bolt, a blur of fur and muscle, the fastest runner in the entire range, his speed a vital asset in this vast, white wilderness. Milo and Rocky were the inseparable trackers, a dynamic duo whose noses were so sharp they could follow a scent through the darkest night and the thickest blizzard. Shadow was the silent guardian, moving with an unnerving stealth that made him more ghost than dog, always watching, always ready. And then there was Zara, the only female in the pack, but what she lacked in numbers, she more than made up for with a razor-sharp intellect and a fearlessness that put many a seasoned soldier to shame. Finally, there was the youngest of them all, Buddy. He was still learning the ropes, a little clumsy, a little unsure, but what he possessed was a heart bigger than the mountains themselves, a boundless well of loyalty and love. Together, these 10 were more than just dogs. They were a brotherhood, a family, the protectors of the camp. One night, the mountain showed its true fury. A snowstorm of unimaginable ferocity descended upon the valley, a swirling vortex of white that blotted out the sky, the ground, and everything in between. The wind howled like a legion of angry spirits, and the snow piled up in drifts that could swallow a manhole. Amid this chaos, a crackle came over the radio, a fragmented, desperate message that sent a chill colder than the storm through every soldier's heart. An avalanche, a massive wall of snow and ice, had thundered down the mountain, burying a part of their unit. The radio went silent. No signal could penetrate the thick blanket of snow. No human rescue team could possibly dig through that much ice and debris in time. A heavy, desperate silence fell over the command tent. The commander, a man hardened by years of mountain warfare, looked at his 10 furry soldiers, his eyes filled with a grim, last-ditch hope. He knelt down, and his voice was a mere whisper against the roar of the wind. "It's up to you now." There was no hesitation. Not a single whine of fear or a moment's doubt. As one, all 10 dogs charged into the blizzard. It was like leaping into a roaring, white ocean. Their paws sank deep into the fresh, heavy snow, each step a monumental effort. The wind tore at their fur, and ice crystals stung their eyes, but they pushed on. They were guided by something more primal and more reliable than any compass or map, scent, instinct, and an unshakable bond with the men they were sworn to protect. They fanned out, a determined pack battling the full might of nature. Hours bled into one another, an eternity marked only by the growing ferocity of the storm and the plunging temperature. It seemed a hopeless task, but then a sharp, piercing bark cut through the howl of the wind. Zara, she had found something. Frantically, she dug, her paws a blur against the white. The soldiers rushed to her side and found the first man, half buried, his face blue with cold, but alive. A wave of renewed hope surged through the rescue party. Not long after, another series of barks echoed from a different direction. It was Milo and Rocky, working in perfect sync, their paws tearing at a massive drift. They pulled out to more soldiers, dragging them from their icy tomb. Every bark was a beacon of life in the deadly whiteout. Even Buddy, the young, inexperienced pup, proved his worth. He sniffed and whined at the base of a huge, frozen tree, refusing to move. When the soldiers investigated, they found the last missing man, trapped and unconscious beneath a fallen branch. Buddy had saved him. As the first, fragile rays of dawn broke over the jagged peaks, the storm finally began to subside. The valley was silent, save for the exhausted breaths of men and dogs. Every single missing soldier had been found. They were cold, battered, but they were alive. A miracle had happened in the heart of the blizzard. But the joy was laced with a profound sorrow. As the soldiers took a head count, a heavy realization dawned. Not all of their furry heroes had returned. 6 dogs stood shivering, their fur caked with ice, their bodies weary but their spirits intact. But 4 were missing: Rex, the noble leader; Zarer, the fearless and intelligent heart of the team; Milo, the tireless tracker; and Shadow, the silent guardian. They had given everything to their mission. They never came back. In the quiet, solemn light of the new day, the soldiers stood in a line, their heads bowed, looking out over the now calm mountain. The sun rose, casting a golden glow on the pristine snow, a beautiful, painful reminder of the sacrifice that had been made. They worked together, their grief a shared, unspoken burden, and built 10 small graves beside the camp. They weren't grand monuments, just simple mounds of stone. But on each one, they hung a small metal tag, the kind each dog had worn on its collar. And beneath the names, they carved a simple, powerful epitaph. A tribute that spoke volumes. It didn't say good dog or faithful companion. It said something more, something earned in the heart of the storm. The words read, "They didn't wear uniforms, but they served like true soldiers. The camp was safe. The men were alive, all thanks to the 10 brave souls who proved that heroism ain't measured by the clothes you wear, but by the courage in your heart." Thank you so much for watching and sharing in this powerful story of loyalty and sacrifice. These incredible animals are true heroes. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more content that honors the unspoken bonds between humans and animals. We'll see you in the next one.